Oh man, y'all, you can't make this up. What's going on, y'all? Machiavelli Mills TV. So, I just came back from watching Black Panther Wakanda Forever. Not just came back. I just saw the movie a couple of days ago, and I was highly impressed with the film, thoroughly impressed. I enjoyed it all the way through, and I think Ryan Coogler did a magnificent job with having to deal with so many different changes. One big change, humongous change, is the fact that his lead actor, Chadwick Boseman, and the main character, T'Challa, passed away, right? Chadwick Boseman passed away. No one knew he was sick. Ryan Coogler already had a script written out for Chadwick Boseman's character, right? And when he passes away, he has to completely change the entire script and incorporate T'Challa's death within the film. And so he had to change up everything, right? Also, Ryan Coogler was filming during the height of COVID, right? During a lot of these times. So he had to battle all those different changes and he had all these different challenges and obstacles, but he hurdled over them to deliver a great film. And I'm thoroughly impressed with Ryan Coogler, and it shows how great of a filmmaker he really is. Young black brother from Oakland, California. Extremely impressed with him, and I can't wait to see what he does for the third film. I'm hoping that he still is the director for the third film, right? But nonetheless, man, if you're new to this channel, you may not know it, but you can look at some of my even recent videos. You can tell that I'm a very pro-black man, for real, all across the board, right? And so I identify with a lot of the things that are within the I recognize a lot of things that are said within the pro-black community, and I also keep my ear to the conscious community and certain things that are discussed regarding certain films, certain different other forms of media, so on and so forth. And so after the release of Black Panther Wakanda Forever, I saw a lot of the pro-black or the conscious community disappointed in certain things that were highlighted during the film. They questioned why certain things had to be done certain ways, so on and so forth. And so I'm going to provide an explanation for a majority of why certain things was done, and a rebuttal to that. Not in an attempt to go at war with the conscious community or whatever, because I consider myself a conscious brother. I'm not like just embedded within the conscious community like some other people, but for the most part, I identify as a conscious brother for sure. So I'm not trying to go at war with them. When I say this, I'm just trying to provide context to why certain things was done in a certain manner. One of the biggest gripes I saw people have was a lot of the conscious community, the black conscious community, was wondering why the character of Namor was even introduced in the film in the first place. Why was he made a focal point of the film? Why was a non-black individual within a African country, why was he a highlight or a focal point of the film? Why did he have to be the main nemesis, and why did his story have to be expounded upon so much if we're in a African country and this is supposed to be a movie about an African nation and how they continue to move forward with the loss of their king, right? And so I would say that a lot of the conscious community may not know this, because some of them are not into comics, they're not into the Marvel universe, so on and so forth. But Black Panther is not a standalone film. A lot of them may know this, but I have to reiterate this. It is not a standalone film at all, right? It is a part of a cinematic universe. Therefore, now I'm not even going to start there. It's based around comics created by Stan Lee, comics and characters created by Stan Lee. Ryan Coogler did not create these characters. He may have nuanced certain stories and, developed certain stories in certain ways so they can be told in certain ways from his point of view. But these characters are not new. A lot of the different outcomes that occur occur in the film are not new outcomes at all. So the character of Namor was introduced in the comics, and in the comics, he goes to war with Wakanda, And you can correct me if I'm wrong, but he goes into battle with T'Challa for sure, right? Now T'Challa is not in this film, so instead, Ryan Coogler has Namor go into battle with the Black Panther. And I'm not a super comic book nerd or anything like that, so y'all can correct me if I have certain things wrong about the comic book. But from what I understand, Namor goes into battle with the Wakandans for sure. And Ryan Coogler, from what I heard too, he had been wanting to introduce Namor through his movies. He wanted to introduce that character and bring it into the MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, to display on film. So he did that. He introduces this character, and the characters need a backstory. A lot of these Marvel superhero characters, you have to expound upon their story. They just can't come out of nowhere, and you have no explanation for them. Ryan Coogler wanted to highlight the battle between the Black Panther and Namor because it is a very intricate story, and Namor is a very interesting character. He's an anti-hero. Sometimes he's good, sometimes he's bad. Sometimes, from what I even know, he can be a little bit in between, but he's never a real direct villain. And so the story of these two individuals going into war, going to battle with each other, can be told can be told in an interesting way on film. Also, I believe, Ryan maybe wanted to highlight the battle between the Black Panther and Namor and the Wakandans and the Talokan. Even though the Talokan, they had to change it to Talokan for the movie. It's the Atlanteans, I believe, in the comics. But they can't use that name, Atlantis, I think, because of certain stipulations. Is it because of Aquaman or some other Disney movies or something that have a stake, or they have ownership over the Atlantis location? I don't know, so they had to change it to Talokan. But either way, right, I believe that Ryan Coogler wanted to highlight this battle because you see a minority versus minority battle, right? Namor, of course, the Wakandans are black African people, and then Namor and the Talokans are of Hispanic, Mayan descent, I believe, Mexican Mayan descent. And so you see minority versus minority battle due to the wrongdoings of the dominant society, aka white Americans and white Europeans. And he wanted to highlight that, how certain conflicts maybe can arise due to the wrongdoings of the dominant society, and how we can be at battle, at war with each other due to wrongdoings from individuals who have more quote unquote power within the dominant society in certain manners, right? So that he had to bring in this character. Now, another thing that I saw people having a problem with was the fact that at the end of the film, Shuri, and this is a spoiler alert, again, I should have said that already, Shuri lets Namor live after all the damage that he's done. After killing Queen Ramonda, her mother, and causing damage and tragedies and death within Wakanda, she still lets him live. Now, I said in my spoiler review, I said I would have killed him. He got to go. You kill my mama, you got to get up out the game. I'm not sparing nobody, none of the sort, right? And even you can even see that highlighted during the fact when she goes to the ancestral plane after recreating the heart-shaped herb. She goes and she sees Njadaka when she goes to the ancestral plane, aka Killmonger, to fill her spirit with a vengeful spirit in order to get vengeance for her family, for her mother, for her people, for sure, right? And it highlights a strong ideology within the black community, black conscious community, when certain wrongdoings have been done to us from certain other groups of people, right? And you feel that for sure. But I saw a lot of the black, my people in the conscious community saying, now why the hell she let him live? For what? Why do black people have to always be the bigger person and turn the other cheek and let certain people who have caused damage to our community live and walk away scot-free while we just always have to do forgiveness, right? And in the movie, they angle it towards a way where, listen, if we kill him, we go into war with the Talokan forever. We never have peace within our country because Namor is looked at as a deity, as a god, not just a regular leader. So if we kill their god, people go crazy about religious wars, so on and so forth. It'll be going on forever. And a lot of people a lot of people within the conscious community, like, man, so what? We just gonna be at war forever no matter what. And I'm like this. I'm like that too. You kill my mom, we just gonna be at war, whatever. I don't care, right? But again, I have to reiterate that this film is a part of a cinematic universe. It's not a standalone film. Namor is a character that was developed so well and is so interesting, has a great interesting backstory, interesting abilities, comes from a beautiful, vibrant city, that underwater city that nobody has ever seen except Princess Shuri and Nakia and what did they even go all the way down? They didn't. Only Princess Shuri went all the way down into Talokan for real, because she only one that had the suit on or whatever, right? And so he's such an interesting character. They cannot kill this character off within the first film, within his introduction film. They have to, of course, this character, the Marvel Universe is into making money, for sure. And they want to capitalize off this character in a great way because there are more interesting stories to be told regarding Namor, involving Namor, right? And this character was introduced by a black director. You know, he had he had a co-writer as well. But, a black director helped to usher in and bring in this character. And so this black director may want to bring that character back for another movie he may be doing. He may do an Avengers movie or something, not just a Black Panther movie. Well, he's directing that, and he still wants to include that character that he helped bring to the screen in that film in order to make that film more interesting, to tell interesting stories that include Namor. Namor's story does not end in Wakanda. He has a lot of different stories, a lot of different adventures that he goes on. And they can't kill off that character, no matter how much we in the black community wanted to see him gone for killing the queen and causing so much damage and chaos after trying to give Wakanda an ultimatum. We like, oh, the hell with his ass. He got to go. But for the sake of the MCU, and for the sake of Ryan Coogler and future films he might want to make, including Namor, and so he can get his bag, and they want to use the character in interesting ways and tell more stories, they got to keep him alive. It is what it is. That's just simply it. They have to keep him alive to keep telling his story and to keep, telling interesting stories that he's involved in within the comics, right? So that is why he stays alive. Another thing I saw people having a problem with was the fatherless child. Now, again, spoiler alert. In the post-credit scene, some people call it a mid-credit scene because it's supposed to be a scene after that one, from what I heard, and I don't know if it got deleted or whatever. But in the post-credit scene, we see that T'Challa and Nakia have a son, right? And a lot of people within the pro-black or the black conscious community are like, oh my God, here we are with the fatherless black boy, fatherless black child again. Here we go. And I'm like, y'all. So y'all gotta understand, when Ryan Coogler first, introduced the trailer, people were upset even before he introduced the trailer at the fact that he said he was not going to recast T'Challa for this upcoming film. You had people like, oh my God, how could you do this? Once again, because this movie is not a standalone film. They like, how can you get rid of the character of T'Challa when he has so many more interesting stories to be told? T'Challa is an interesting man. He does a lot of different things. He even eventually marries Storm from the X-Men. You can explore those different angles. How could you just get rid of this character like this? How could this happen? Right? You got to keep going because T'Challa is an important character within the MCU for black representation within the MCU. T'Challa is a strong black king of the most powerful nation in the world. How can you get rid of him, the king, right? And so, for the sake of those individuals, well, let me just start. Ryan Coogler did not want, he wanted to honor the death of Chadwick Boseman, so he didn't just want to throw somebody else into his place within his film. He wanted to recognize Chadwick Boseman's death and incorporate it within the film, which, made the film even more, heartfelt and more, touching and more, emotional, for sure, right? So, I want to honor my brother in this film. But a way for the character to be recast without stepping on the toes of the legacy of Chadwick Boseman is to have T'Challa and Nakia to have a son. So that way, his son is also named T'Challa, and he will grow older, and we will still have the character of T'Challa being king in Black Panther someday, right? So in this way, you can softly recast T'Challa without stepping on the toes of Chadwick Boseman or pushing his legacy out of the way. It will be seen as a continuation of his legacy by him having a child also named T'Challa to take the throne. But you can also tell the stories of T'Challa from the aspect of a T'Challa Jr., which I know they will not probably call him Jr. He will just be T'Challa, and you'll still be able to see him possibly marrying Storm one day, so on and so forth, and continue the legacy of T'Challa that way. So for the sake of the fact, that, hey, this MCU has to continue and the story of T'Challa cannot end, they placed T'Challa, they had T'Challa and Nakia have a child. And he's fatherless because the character, Chadwick Boseman died in real life, and they made the character of T'Challa die in the movie. Right? And they have a child, and the child is fatherless because of the death, but they had to have this child so that we can continue hearing stories about T'Challa. He's little T'Challa, but his name is still T'Challa, so we can still have the stories of T'Challa be told. That's it. That's all, right? Another gripe that I see, Another gripe I saw that the Black conscious community had with the film is that there are too many female characters in the movie. Where is the patriarchy? Where is the black man in this film? Why, isn't the black man displayed on the screen in such a powerful way? It's just so many women warriors. Now, I'm not super well versed within the comics as everybody else and all of that, but the Dora Milaje has always been his T'Challa's protection and his guards, his not security detail, but like it. They have been his warriors around him has always been women, the women warriors. Women warriors have always been an intricate they have always been relevant within Wakanda. They have always been a strong presence of women warriors within the Wakanda nation. Period. There's always been that way. So women warriors have always been, even in the first film, outside of the Border Tribe and the Jabari Tribe, the women warriors were standouts in the film, from Nakia to even Shuri using the arm gauntlets against Killmonger in the first film. It's always been a focal point of the film was the women warriors, to show that, he was protected by women warriors. They were the ones who looked after him. So they were going to continue that in the second film with Okoye, with Shuri being Black Panther, Nakia coming in at certain points, the Dora Milaje. It is what it is. Now, the Border Tribe, who also was the other male tribe led by Wakabi, aka Daniel Kaluuya, they were not, I don't remember seeing them in a film like that. I know he's not in the film. And maybe they didn't highlight the Border Tribe full of men that much, because I'm trying to think, the only tribe I saw full of men in the first film was the Border Tribe. And they went against Wakanda to help Killmonger at the end, and they eventually reverted back to being under King T'Challa. But I only saw them being the male warriors and the Jabari Tribe, right? And I think the Border Tribe was not highlighted in this film due to the fact that Wakabi was absent in the film. And he's supposed to be the leader of the Border Tribe, and maybe they had no real explanation for where he was. So maybe they didn't put the Border Tribe, and maybe they were in the film. I only saw the film once. I didn't really pay attention to the Border Tribe if they were present, but I didn't see them. And maybe the male warriors of the Border Tribe were not present because they can't explain the absence of Wakabi, Daniel Kaluuya's character. And Daniel Kaluuya was only Daniel Kaluuya was only not included in the film because of the fact that he was shooting Jordan Peele's Nope movie at the same time that Black Panther Wakanda Forever was filming, and it was a conflict in schedule. He couldn't do two films at one time. He wanted to do Nope with Jordan Peele, so he went that direction, and he was absent from the film because of that. So the Border Tribe and Wakabi is absent from the film, and thus we are left with the Jabari Tribe, led by the great gorilla king M'Baku, right? The great king M'Baku, right? And so we just see M'Baku and his Jabari tribe be the male presence in the film. While they aren't a whole abundance of them, they are still make a strong impact, and they are still strongly present with throughout the film. In fact, some people wanted more M'Baku in this film. I actually felt like M'Baku was more involved in this film than the first film. Some people feel differently, but I just feel like M'Baku was such a captivating character on screen that you may have felt he was in it more in the first film than the second, but it wasn't. And even in the second film, you were yearning for more of his character. You had a strong desire to see his character on the screen more because he was so captivating. He was so charismatic. Anytime he was on screen, his presence was huge. But other than that, Wakanda, you see Queen Ramonda, her reaction. Well, because her husband is dead. You can't see King T'Chaka's reaction to losing T'Challa because he's not around. The queen is the sole ruler of the sovereign nation at the time because T'Challa's dead. T'Challa has no other brother. His other cousin, Killmonger, is dead and he's not alive. So what's left? You see his sister Shuri's reaction. Did you see the Dora Milaje's reaction? Because they were always present. So that's why women's presence is always strongly felt in this movie, because it's always been, their presence has always been strong within Wakanda, period, right? Now, the last gripe that I saw people have with the film was that at the end of the film, you see the two members of the Dora Milaje, I forgot, was it Aneka and somebody else, I believe, maybe I'm incorrect. They seem to be in a relationship with each other. Two Dora Milaje characters, two women seem to be in a relationship with each other after one gives a kiss on the forehead of the other one, right? And so you have people wondering, now what's that about, right? Is it simply for inclusion of, the gay community? And it could be, right? And if that is why it was included, then it is what it is. The fact of the matter is that Black Panther has shown many different types of black people throughout these two films. They've shown black royalty, black warriors, black male warriors, black female warriors, tech-savvy individuals, right? They've shown black elders, that have say-so within the community, black male elders, black female elders, so on and so forth. They've shown all different types of black people. And so whether people like it or not, whether people agree with the lifestyle or not, there are black gay people in this world, right? So, that may have been true. They may have just tried to put that in there to include the gay community within the film in a way, right? And that could be true. And some people are, again, a lot of the black conscious community, they feel like, they shouldn't have put that in or whatever. But I'm telling you that why it probably was included in the film, and whether people like it or not, there's black gay people in this world, and the film shows representation of different types of black people. And so gay black people are different types of black people in this world. Well, tech-savvy black people, warrior black folks, royalty black folks, so on and so forth, heterosexual black folks, so on and so forth. Now, we're going to get to the part that I think some other people had a problem with. They're going to say, well, and honestly, I would understand this point from historical context. Historically speaking, African countries, now I'm not the king of knowing all about African countries, so on and so forth. But from my understanding, African countries have not always, a lot of African countries are not accepting of homosexuality, right? They are against homosexuality. So homosexuality would never be embraced in an open forum the way that it was within this film. And so they're looking like, for historical context, that is inaccurate. It's not historically accurate for homosexuality to be embraced and openly shown amongst the elders and amongst the other people within the African society. Even if there is, even if it's, gay community or gay communities within the African countries, they aren't broadcasting it. They aren't open with it because it's something that the countries are strongly against. And even I believe in some of the countries, you may even be jailed for being gay. So it would never be something that a lot of the African countries would put into the open or openly accept or openly display. They wouldn't openly display that. So I understand it from that point for historical reference, not because I have a problem with the gay community, because I don't at all. Um, you know, a lot of people, I have even got gay subscribers that follow the channel, and everybody, what everybody do in their personal life is just not. I'm not interested in what I mean. I'm not vested in what people do in their personal life, as long as it's not openly undermining the progression of Black folks, and it's not damaging me and my people and my family. I'm not invested in it that way to be trying to like be so staunch against it like that. You know what I mean? So people are free to do what they want to do and live how they want to live. But I understand for historical context, some people be like, oh, it's not historically accurate for it to be shown in that manner. But other than that, this is the breakdown of why certain things was done the certain way it was done within the film Black Panther Wakanda Forever. You all can put your comments in the comment section below. Subscribe to the channel, like the video. We can even have dialogue, when I get a chance later on, even talk about certain things within the film. But yeah, man, like I feel like it was a great film. I feel like it was done great, done in the correct fashion. And I think Ryan Coogler did an amazing job, especially with all he had to work with and all the changes he had to endure. Machiavelli Mills TV, I'm out. Peace.